Well, they're better than they've ever been, but it can go either way, and I know it. I hope I can win it. I'm going to try.
At the start, Jarzambek, number 5, grabbed the lead from another aging vet, cigar-chomping Bug Stevens. But then he lost it, hit the rail hard, and lost his chance for victory. Stevens, number 4, had never won this race either. He led until Pennsylvania's Jimmy Spencer, number 24, got by. Modified legend and 3-time race winner Richie Evans, number 61, led a few laps, but he had handling problems. At the end, it was Brett Bodine, George Kent, and George Brunholzl racing under a blanket. The rear end on Bodine's number 12 was seizing up in the last few laps, but Kent had 2 tires going flat, and young Brett held on for the win. From Pocono International Raceway, this is Steve Potter for Motorweek Illustrated.
And we'll have the King of the Outlaws and bobtail trucks when Motorweek continues. Steve Kinser's nickname, King of the Outlaws, is well-deserved. The Indiana Charger guaranteed his 8th World of Outlaws Sprint Car Championship just by starting the race tomorrow at San Jose, California. Last weekend, famed Ascot Park hosted the winged sprints for the first time ever. The Outlaws' popular 4 abreast salute to a standing room-only crowd of over 10,000. They loved California Jimmy Sills, number 9. He put it to the Outlaw Invaders for 9 of 30 laps. Then Kinser stormed into the lead. Steve, who won his 150th feature the night before at Santa Maria Speedway, cut and sliced his way through traffic. He led the next 19 laps. But you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Watch the top of your screen. Sammy Swindell in the red number 1 uses that traffic, sets Kinser up. Here it comes. Guns him down, and it's all over. Swindell sprints home ahead of Kinser and his younger brother, Jeff Swindell. There's Sammy picking up his 108th career win before the largest auto racing crowd in Ascot Park history. Good night for the Outlaws. And that leads us directly to Chris Economaki's subject matter for this week.
America's oldest form of racing, the sprint car, has perhaps undergone the biggest change of any form of racing in recent years. From the time Barney Oldfield campaigned in the early 1920s through World War II, the sprint car reflected the design, creativity, and craftsmanship of one man. And as a consequence, no 2 were alike. Not so today. Here at the Hospital Clean Gambler Competition Center, which made 189 cars last year and plans 200 this year, the change is evident and dramatic. Utilizing computer-aided design, more than 500 drawings are needed before work on the high-quality steel, aluminum, and magnesium can begin. Years ago, builders started by chalking a frame layout on a garage floor. Today, a jig is laid out. Each side built to precision tolerances, then welded together. Computers run a $1.5 million machine shop, whittling out the more than 1,000 custom parts that go into each modern-day sprint car. Skilled craftsmen make these parts, not one, but hundreds at a time, to stock the warehouses that can service the more than 5,000 sprint cars racing today in this country and overseas. In fact, this batch of chassis is about to be shipped to Australia. Gambler's busy home base here in Hendersonville, Tennessee, is on a 24-hour computer link to its branches in Indianapolis and Los Angeles. And now the latest version of the famed Gambler, the 1986 model, with its onboard computer, is nearing completion. In fact, the folks at Gambler have taken a page from Detroit. Its introduction date is November 1st. At $15,500 for a rolling chassis, building sprint cars is big business at Gambler.
Now to Donald Davidson and a slightly different form of open-wheel dirt racing.
The Indiana State Fairgrounds is the home of a dirt track racing classic. The Hoosier 100 has been held here every September since 1953, and great winners have included Jimmy Bryan, A.J. Foyt, Roger Ward, Parnelli Jones, Al Unser, and Mario Andretti. The winner this year was Sheldon Kinser, and he remembers his first Hoosier 100 back in 1974.
This is the first place I ever drove a dirt car, and I crashed her in turn 1 on the start, and I started on the outside front row.
Well, he didn't do that again. Runner-up here in 83 and 84, he stalked pole sitter Joe Saldana for the first 47 laps this time before taking the lead for good. Saldana later dropped back with a badly smoking engine, and on the next to last lap it finally let go, causing this skirmish. So the race finished under caution, but that did nothing to diminish Kins's enjoyment of one of his biggest victories.
I've always wanted to win the Hoosier 100, and we've tried, and like I say, we've come close, but now we've finally done it.
From the Indiana State Fairgrounds, this is Donald Davidson reporting for Motorweek Illustrated.
And for heavy-duty action, well, you can't beat bobtail trucks on a super speedway. Phil Van Horn took in the action of the Great American Truck Race at Atlanta International Raceway.
From the drop of the green flag, the 100-lapper promised to be action-packed and delivered. On the pole at over 130 miles per hour, Jeff Salmon in the blue set the early pace and got a mirror full of Irvin Carpenter's Danny Sullivan impression. Carpenter swaps ends, completes the 360, and safely continues on. Now, nearing the halfway point, Gary Grissom smacks the wall, flames erupt and dance around the cab, part of a 4-rig wreck that brought out the black flag. Found unconscious in his cab, Grissom was hurried to a local hospital and released the next day. After an hour delay, the race boiled down to the final turn. The Flying Deuce, Doyle Montgomery, held the groove and out-dragged Buddy Albertson to the checkered flag. This is Phil Van Horn for Motorweek Illustrated.
And we'll have the stories of newly crowned champions right after this. Let's meet some newly crowned racing champions now. Bubba Schobert reigns this week as king of the Camel Pro Motorcycle Series. Schobert, number 67, 22 years old, from Lubbock, Texas, clinched the title with a third-place finish Sunday at San Jose, California. His Honda teammate, Ricky Graham, defending national champ, came back strong from a broken leg. He's won 4 of the last 6 dirt tracks. Rocket Rick took the Sunday white flag dead even with Scott Parker. But watch the leader, Parker. He's going to get it completely sideways right there at 100 miles an hour. That momentary bobble, all the opening Graham needed. He pulls ahead on the backstretch, and then he covers that high line as they head for home to win it by a length. With 2 races to go, the third-place man, Schobert, is your new Camel Pro Series champion. And Helen Casey joins us now with 2 more new title winners.
Dave Chip Hanauer wrapped up the Unlimited Hydroplane National title at San Diego last weekend. His boat broke in the main event, but Chip clinched the crown just by qualifying. And a fine young second-generation racer won his first major title last weekend. Trans Am star Wally Dallenbach Jr. led defending champ Tom Glory across the line in St. Louis, taking his 5th win of the year and clinching the Bendix Brakes Trans Am title. In his Jack Roush prepared Capri, Dallenbach has already won close to $120,000 with 2 events still to go. The new champ is the son of former IndyCar star Wally Dallenbach Sr., who finished in the top 5 3 times in the Indy 500, but never quite won it. Wally Sr. now serves as chief steward and director of competition for the CART IndyCar Series, and Jr. credits Dad for a lot of his success.
He's helped me out a lot in making right decisions, and not so much on the racetrack stuff. He's let me do that a lot on my own, but, you know, knowing what doors to open and what doors to keep closed, he's helped me out a lot.
All those new champs are candidates for Racer of the Week, but we'll find the winner of that honor in Pennsylvania. It was a big weekend of drag racing at Reading, PA's Keystone Nationals. This is the home track of reigning Top Fuel world champ Joe Amato, who liked the atmosphere and the atmospheric conditions.
The air is coming up on the computer about sea level or a couple hundred feet above sea level, which is probably as good as you're going to get anywhere in the country. And the track conditions are holding all the power anybody's able to dial in, so the cars are going to really go fast.
But the man who went the fastest was Amato's rival, Big Daddy Don Garlitz. In first-round eliminations, Garlitz's far lane ran 266.11 miles an hour. That's the fastest pass in drag race history. Big Daddy, can you make the backup run you need to set an official record?
I sure hope so, but you never know till the last dog is drug off.
Well, Garlitz wasn't the only record setter. Bob Glidden lowered the Pro Stock ET mark to 7.497 seconds on Friday, then lost in first-round eliminations. Bruce Allen, far lane, won the Pro Stock final right off the line. Warren Johnson had a quicker time and a faster speed, but slower reactions. That's Allen's 3rd win of the year. As expected, the Top Fuel final matched Garlitz on the near side, the 85-point leader, against Amato, the defending world champ. Big Daddy claimed a record 6th national win of the year, but on the oil-slick track, he missed that world speed record.
Well, I'll tell you what, I guess what we're going to have to do is set the record early in the race, you know, like on a Thursday or a Friday, before the racers have gotten so crazy with their bombastic motors, putting oil all over the racetrack. It's tough to get the record on race day.
So is Don Garlits our Racer of the Week? Nope, that honor goes to the loser of the Keystone Nationals Funny Car Final. Tim Gross, near lane, shuts down Kenny Bernstein, who clinched the Funny Car World Championship by qualifying for the Pennsylvania Final. But watch the fireworks right at the end for winner Gross. In replay, you'll see it, Gross leading when the supercharger blows right through the hood. Bernstein lost a cylinder on the run, so Gross still got there first. Tim gets the champagne and the bragging rights for whipping the new world champion. His crew, well, they get the job of putting things back together again. And how about this guy? World champ Kenny Bernstein. Buddy, you lost the final, but you had a heck of a weekend.
Well, it certainly has been a pretty good weekend for the Budweiser King Motorcraft Tempo. We won the Winston World Championship by qualifying here, which is nice to have for 1985. We set a new National Hot Rod Association record at 5.56, which is the fastest any funny car has gone. It's been phenomenal, and hats off to my crew, Dale Armstrong, and the whole group for doing a super job.
For finally nailing down that long-sought world championship and in the process turning the quickest funny car run in history, the king of funny cars, Kenny Bernstein, reigns as our champion spark plug Racer of the Week.
Big Daddy Don Garlits is the subject this week as Valvoline opens the pages of Ken Squier's scrapbook.
Hello, everyone. Here is still another page from my motorsports scrapbook. March 1970, Long Beach, California. Big Daddy Don Garlits has always been one of drag racing's innovators. Driving his traditional front-engine slingshot Swamp Rat against Richard Tharp at Lyons Drag Strip, Garlits' transmission suddenly exploded, splitting the car in two and taking with it part of his right foot. But Big Daddy came back, bringing back with him a totally new dragster, the first rear-engine design that has since become the standard for safety and speed. Out of near tragedy in 1970, Big Daddy Don Garlits created the future of top fuel racing. I'm Ken Squier. Join me next week for another great motorsports memory.
And we'll hear from the man who may soon reign as the first French world driving champion right after this. Off-road racing season is over, and it may take all winter to rebuild the equipment. Jerry Garrett reports.
In most types of racing, drivers are trying to stay out of trouble. In stadium off-road racing, they're looking for ways to get into it. And trouble's never too hard to find in this fast-growing sport. It always seems to be just around the next corner. All these cars have brakes, it just seems that no one likes to use them. Someone's in your way? Well, don't stop, just bulldoze them out of the way. And if you find yourself in a little trouble, just keep gassing it. Like Jerry Stansberry here, he doesn't even lose a position. Talk about unflappable, though. Watch Jeff Huber dump his Ford Ranger. Rescuers get it right side up again, only to have it catch fire. Jeff's not worried. A quick shot of the fire extinguisher, and he's got it running again, good enough to finish fifth. Does the action seem a little intense? Ooh, bad form. John Swift lands shiny side down. Well, the intensity is directly related to the fact that this was the season finale for the Stadium Stuffers, and all the championships were on the line. Here's a list of some of the winners. They all pale, however, in importance to the Grand National Truck contenders. Battling for the title, it was the lone Nissan of Roger Mears versus 3 Toyotas. Although Frank Arciero quickly made it only 2 Toyotas when he spun out at the start, and he got clobbered. Number 1 Ivan Stewart and number 7 Mears entered the finale tied in points, so one only had to beat the other to take the title. Near halfway, Mears completed his decisive pass of Stewart, but Mears wanted more, so he set his sights on the race leader, number 2 Steve Millen, Stewart's teammate. As the mayhem continued around them, Mears closed in on Millen, and on the last lap he even got close enough to rear-end him. But not even getting up on 2 wheels could catch him up with Millen in time for the checkered flag. All things considered, Mears decided he was lucky to finish as well as he did.
Really, I smoked the transmission in the race, the heat race before, because I forgot to turn the damn fans on that cool it, and so I smoked it down, and then we were really lucky to even to finish the main tonight, so I guess I can't gripe too much.
Stewart says he's all ready for a rematch next season. No doubt a lot of drivers feel that way. From San Bernardino, California, this is Jerry Garrett for Motorweek Illustrated.
Jim Roller joins us now with the Belgian Grand Prix story.
Dave, Ayrton Senna, Formula One Racing's latest rainmaster, enjoyed another wet track field day at the famed Spa circuit last Sunday. Rain at varying spots around the undulating 4.3-mile mountain road course made conditions treacherous throughout the race. Undaunted by the rain, Senna slipped and slid his way to a big lead he would hold all day. Behind Senna, the day's only battle raged between Williams teammates number 5, Nigel Mansell, and K.K. Rosberg, number 6. Mansell held off his Finnish stablemate until mechanical problems dropped Rosberg off the pace. That moved Alain Prost into third. The Frenchman had been cruising since early in the race when his rival for the World Championship, Michele Alboreto, dropped out of his second straight race. Up front, Senna's Lotus Renault had developed a misfire that worsened over the closing laps. Nonetheless, Senna, the man who has led more laps than any other driver in 1985, nursed his mount home for his second win of the year. Mansell and Prost held formation for second and third. Prost now only needs to score 2 more points than Alboreto in the October 6th European Grand Prix at Brands Hatch to clinch his first world title. Manufacturers are in the news in this week's edition of the Beatrice Formula One Report. Alfa Romeo is expected to join Renault on the Formula One sidelines, the latest victim of the high cost of Grand Prix racing. Alfa's Benetton-sponsored Euro racing team cars, driven by Eddie Cheever and Riccardo Patrese, haven't had much success, and Alfa's government-backed parent company has demanded budget cutbacks. Alfa, like Renault, is likely to pull its team off the circuit, but remain as an engine supplier.
This week, the French Renault and Ligier teams announced that they will not send cars to the controversial South African Grand Prix. And drivers Ayrton Senna, Nelson Piquet, and K.K. Rosberg have been asked by their governments not to compete in that event. Alain Prost stands to become the first Frenchman ever to win the World Driving Championship. And on the eve of his big day, he sounds optimistic.
You must be careful with Ferrari because sometimes where they are not competitive at all, and next race they are very good. But I must admit that my car is better at the moment, and the tracks we are going to go in those next races will be a little bit more comfortable for me.
And we'll have a lot more GP news on next week's edition of the Beatrice Formula One Report.
Last weekend, the year's biggest air race was held in Reno, Nevada. The crowd favorites were the Unlimited racers, former warplanes reaching speeds of 470 miles per hour. In Sunday's 8-lap final, Steve Hinton was the surprise winner in his Super Corsair when Neil Anderson missed the last of 64 pylons. Formula One winner Ray Cote picked up a record 12th national title.
Finally today, a great movie stunt pilot and air show star died this week. Art Scholl and his flying dog Aileron thrilled millions over the years with their aerobatics. Scholl's plane crashed last weekend in the ocean off San Diego while he was practicing a stunt for an upcoming movie.
We're out of time on this week's edition of Motorweek Illustrated. I'm Jim Roller. We'll see you next week.
Until next Saturday at this same time, I'm Dave Despain. We'll see you then.
Promotional consideration and production fee paid by
Feels so good, looks so right. Wrangler fits your style of life. Live into the living Wrangler.
And by Jaguar. Jaguar's powerful racing V12 sets the standard for a distinctively elegant grand touring car. The Jaguar XJS, a blending of art and machine.
And by
Beatrice. Many of your favorite products come from us, including La Choy Oriental Food and Avis Car Rental. Beatrice, you've known us all along.
Motorweek Illustrated was brought to you in part by Valvoline, because your car is special. And by Dodge, an American revolution, a performance revolution.